Hi, and welcome to Conversations to Amplify and Inspire with Kerryn Powell. Kerryn Powell, the Network Catalyst, invites you to listen to a range of conversations. Be inspired and motivated by individuals, businesses, or groups as they share stories of struggles and successes, their contribution to community, and different perspectives that may expand and challenge your thinking.
Winston Churchill once said, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." Hello and welcome to Conversations to Amplify and Inspire. We all have the opportunity to make connections and contribute to community when we reach out and think beyond ourselves. Each and every one of us has a story. My mission is to amplify that story and expertise of people that I've been fortunate enough to meet and have in my network, in the hope of inspiring you and others to take action and make a positive contribution. I believe that with a supportive network, anything is possible and we can transform lives. Some people volunteer, some donate, some provide services, some share stories and build awareness. I aim to engage in conversations that will amplify the efforts of people and organisations to inspire others to consider how they might like to contribute. Today I would like to introduce you to Johanna de Burca from the charity Just Peoples, with an S at the end. We met at a networking breakfast and recently had a long conversation. I learned that Johanna is co-founder and CEO of Just Peoples, an Australian charity that delivers grassroots micro projects that address poverty across Africa and Asia. Just Peoples recruits business owners and everyday Australians with the desire to contribute to the world and matches them with a unique micro project to match their passions and values. Just Peoples micro projects are all designed and delivered by local people, and they provide a variety of pathways to lift some of the world's most vulnerable out of poverty, including projects in education, clean water, women's empowerment, job creation and access to microfinance. Welcome, Johanna.
Thank you so much for having me, Kerryn.
It's wonderful to have you here and to share your story. When we originally spoke, you shared some of your travel experiences and where you'd also volunteered. Could you perhaps share a couple of those experiences with us to let people understand a bit about your background?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've always had the travel bug, I guess, from a young age. And in my early 20s, like many Aussies and Kiwis, I headed off for my working holiday in London to use as a base to travel the world. And I ended up staying in London for about 7 years. And as I moved, I guess, beyond the sites and the beaches of Europe and started to go a bit further afield into Africa and Asia, for the first time I was really exposed to widespread poverty. It made me really uncomfortable to witness firsthand. I knew that poverty existed in the world, but it made me really uncomfortable to witness this firsthand and to really see the stark contrast and opportunity that we had simply based on where we were born. It's something that none of us have any control of at all. Mm-hmm. So I guess these experiences prompted me to leave my job in central London, and I decided that I would try my hand at using my skills to see if I could make a positive impact in the lives of people living in poverty. So my first stop was a remote hilltop community in rural Nicaragua in Central America. And there I volunteered as a project leader for 3 months, and I was leading a team of volunteers to deliver a gravity-fed water system so that the community there would have access to clean water. I also travelled to northern India to run some workshops with a local charity around behaviour change. So taking lessons from my career in marketing and changing consumer behaviours to encourage them to buy certain products. It was like seeing how could we use those lessons to actually try to change some behaviours in these communities where the charity was working in India. So it was things like encouraging women to give birth in a hospital or with proper medical support around her, rather than just with family, to try and address the maternal mortality rates. Yeah.
And when and how did you decide to start Just Peoples?
So I guess it was really due to the experiences I had volunteering and working out in the field. And what I really noticed when I was there is that I felt really uncomfortable. Like, I didn't know the culture. I didn't understand the language. I'd never lived in poverty myself. So while I'd kind of arrived with my backpack and I was so excited to kind of get stuck in and help and make a difference, and I learned a lot, I don't feel like I was, I guess, the right person to be doing that. I met plenty of amazing local people who had the ability, who had the skills and understood the context, but just simply didn't have the means to address the poverty themselves. Yeah.
And so what were the first steps that you took with Just Peoples?
So I actually shared some of my experiences volunteering with my childhood friend, Christy, who co-founded Just Peoples with me. And Christy has really a lot of experience working with NGOs all over Africa. While I was sort of trotting around Europe, she was based in Asia and working with a lot of charities and NGOs out there. So I guess she shared a lot of the same beliefs as me, that she'd felt quite uncomfortable in some of the situations that she'd been in when she was trying to help. And really what we found that we had in common is that we'd met so many incredible local people along the way, and they had such great stories and they worked with such passion and they were so resourceful. And we thought, let's tell their stories, let's tell the stories of these people to the world, and see if people are keen to fund their projects. So that's really where we started. And we just started with a couple of projects. So people that we knew that were awesome. Our first project was run by a teacher in Cambodia called Morn, and his life's work was educating children, giving them a free education, the kids that live in slum communities in Siem Reap. And he not only provides free education, but also free school lunches, which for some of the kids is the only meal that they get during the day. So we found out that he needed about $1,000 to educate a whole class of kids for a year and give them school lunches every day. So we listed this project on Just Peoples, and it was a fundraiser named Jodine signed up to raise the money. She's also a good friend of mine and Christy, so we're really just piloting the idea. Yes. And yeah, she fundraised the money, and that was the first project, and it just kind of all started from there. And it was just incredible to hear how, you know, Jodine raising that $1,000 changed the trajectory of those kids' lives. So
absolutely,
you're onto something powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. And why do you think that businesses are interested in helping other people? What do you think drives their interest?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because we started Just Peoples just working really with individuals who were keen to make a personal contribution. But lately we've been getting more and more interest from small and medium-sized businesses who are looking for a way to contribute. And generally it starts with the founder or owner of the business that really make a personal decision that they want to make a contribution to the world. And they see building goals of contribution into their business as a really great way to do that and leave a legacy for themselves and for their businesses, and not just working to serve their customers or their clients, but making a wider impact in the world. And of course, there's also, you know, there's a huge win-win because it also gives them the platform to grow their brand, to attract more socially minded customers and clients. And some of the businesses we work with even engage their employees or their customers to help them choose which project they're going to fund through Just People's, and that's provided a really good opportunity for them to, I guess, really engage their communities and make a difference together.
Yes, I'm sure, and to bond and have a common purpose. I'm a great believer that we don't live to work, we work to live, and so if we can get more out of the effort that we put in and have that personal satisfaction and that fulfillment, it makes us all feel better. So I think
absolutely, yes.
So I'm sure that there are problems sometimes about expectations and relationships and what someone's expecting and maybe not what comes out of it in the long run. What's been your experience of managing those relationships and expectations through a project?
Yeah, that's a great question, because we do, that's certainly been one of the challenges that we've faced. We work across about 15 different countries of the world, so we're working with people from all sorts of backgrounds, different cultural norms, different ways of doing business, of working, and then of course we're working with people here in Australia and New Zealand who have their own ways of working and expectations of what giving to charity looks like.
Yes.
So really, I guess the key for us is just being really genuine and having really open communication and transparency. I think that was one of the things when we set up Just People's that was really important to us, and that it probably stopped me giving to charity myself previously, because I kind of thought, if I give to a big charity, I don't really know where the money's going, like what impact it's making. You hear like stories of like foreign imposed solutions going really bad and wells never getting used, and you hear all these kind of things. And so I guess for us it was really important to build really close personal relationships and just keep those lines of communication really open. So we use quite informal methods like WhatsApp and little video calls from the field and things like that. And actually, rather than like getting our like project leaders to write big reports and stuff, which we find that our donors don't even want to read anyway, we get them to send like little videos and personal messages and stuff like that, so that when people choose to make a difference, they can really connect and they can see the work happening in action. So yeah, that's...
When we spoke last time, you told me about someone that had been out recently and kerosene cooking.
Yes,
can
Charlotte.
Can you share that story with us so people get a really good understanding about what you do?
Absolutely. Charlotte is one of my favourite people to talk about. So Charlotte is one of our first project leaders with Just People's, and Charlotte grew up in the slums of Nakuru in Kenya, and Charlotte was a single mother. She was selling charcoal at the side of the road, and she saved up enough money to put herself through university. And she's one of the most intelligent people that I know. She's really quite incredible. She put herself through university, and while she was there, she learnt about the dangers of household air pollution within slum communities. So if you imagine people are living in really like close spaces, and they using these traditional cook stoves, which let off a lot of pollution within the home. And this pollution, it wouldn't just be in the kitchen, in the homes that they're in, that's flooding through to the bedrooms and everything as well, so they're sleeping in that too. And so there's a really high level of respiratory infections. So what Charlotte decided to do is to design and produce a new type of cook stove that cost less to run, let off less fumes, so it was less dangerous in the home, and it was also safer for kids running around in the home to not burn themselves. So she did that, and we supported Charlotte at a really early stage when she was just getting her work off the ground, and we supported her to run workshops within Nakuru and to train women about the dangers of household air pollution, and sent each woman home from these workshops. There was about 60 women at each workshop. Sent each woman home with one of Charlotte's cook stoves, and then they started to spread the word within the community about these fabulous cook stoves, which are only $12 to produce. So we raised money for the cook stove. She's out and about telling people about her cook stoves, and now she is absolutely flying. She has won numerous international awards. She won the Global Citizen Award last last year and won $100,000 I think, and she's won a couple of awards this year as well. So I guess she's a real success story of what we can do if we really support these local heroes at a really early stage, the kind of things that they can go on to do if they're able to pilot these ideas and really scale them up. So Charlotte's actually about to graduate from one of our project leaders, and we've invited her to be part of our board because we want her part of everything. We want her to be part of making the decisions that means we're able to serve our communities better. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful story with a fantastic outcome and a continuing positive situation. So the positive consequences of that sort of story is obviously building brand awareness for Just Peoples as well, and changing lives for many people, not just for Charlotte. What else would you consider are positive consequences from all the work that you do?
Yeah, I guess we've always focused on the impact that we make out in the field and the number of people living in poverty that we're able to reach with our projects. And, you know, we're really proud of that. We've nearly funded 100 projects and reached, I think, nearly 84,000 people living in poverty. So obviously we're really excited about that.
Yes.
But on the flip side of that, we're really excited when we see how many people have donated and fundraised through Just Peoples, because there are people that perhaps maybe they were like me and they hadn't actually given to charity before, but they've kind of seen a new way that they can, you know, find a really fulfilling experience by being more connected to the project that they support on the ground. So yes, we're super excited about that, and our supporters just give us so much energy because they're really creative. They think of new ways to fundraise, they want to help through their businesses, and just basically every conversation we have is like exciting and fills us with energy. Yeah,
it's fantastic, and especially when we're living in such uncertain terms, it's wonderful to have some positive things. So what does the future look like for Just Peoples?
The future, well, our goals for the next 5 years are to reach 1 million people living in poverty. 1 million sounds like a scary number, but
you're nearly up to the first one.
Exactly. And so I guess the future for us, really, where we've seen that we've been able to increase our impact dramatically is when we collaborate. So when we collaborate with more project leaders who all have a proven track record of addressing poverty in their communities. And that'll be really fabulous when we bring Charlotte on board as well, because Charlotte knows a lot of other Charlottes that she can introduce us to, people that are making incredible impacts on the ground that we can recruit to lead our projects, and then of course increase our visibility here in Australia to get more people on board to fund projects.
Absolutely. And how can people find out more about Just Peoples? What's the best way to connect?
I would love them to come and check out our website. We're at justpeoples.org, and you can check out a selection of our projects there. It's just a taster, really. What we love is we love to chat to people. So if anyone would like to go to justpeoples.org/call, you can book on a call with me. We can jump on a Zoom and we can chat about what sort of contribution you're looking to make in the world, and seeing how we can pair you up with one of our project leaders to do something epic.
Yeah, wonderful. And one of the things that I say all the time is you might be speaking to one person, but there are hundreds who stand behind that person. And people can make a contribution just by helping with that connection. Parting thought, I thought I'd share with you a quote to reflect on by Stephen Covey. Life is not about accumulation, it's about contribution. I wish you well, and I thank you so much for your time, Johanna, and I look forward to helping Just Peoples grow. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me, Kerryn.